Chapter 1. I never wanted to be princess. My father destined me to be queen. But today, I'm a dancer, and that's all I ever wanted to be. Not that I don't understand why he wants me to be queen. It's nearly impossible for anyone to walk these streets and not understand. The evidence lies bare no matter where you look. Not a soul, no matter how hardened, can miss the battle and poverty-scarred souls who live here, or how every building and structure in the city cries for relief. With the right queen, relief could be given. And if you ask my dad, that queen had to be me. Not even the heavy mist that looms in the early morning air can hide the slowly decaying city from view. Rather, the mist toys with it, like sadistic fingers stroking the fur of some demented pet. The mist swirls across the stone street, dipping into countless potholes, cracks, crevices, and shattered stone gaps it can find. It snakes between the buildings, dipping into and back out of dozens of cracks and dents inside the stone walls, teasing the broken, splintered, and missing roof shingles. It skips up the slanted roofs and basic coastal stones, adding a shiver to the air that makes me hug my shawl tighter around me, thinking perhaps I should have brought my cloak. The mist gives the illusion of being alone, but there are plenty of people out and about, even this early in the morning. With the day, most of them are desperate merchants or performers who want to be ready for the activity of the festival, scraping as much of a living out of it as possible. The mist hides them from view, but each whispering voice makes the chill worse. A small part of my mind debates if it's an innocent merchant, shopper, guard, or desperate soul ready to do whatever it takes to get by. The mist dims the eyes, but enlarges the ears.
Have you heard? The enthronement? Yes. Could such a contest be real?
Ah, yes, of course. I'm already sick of the word, and the rumors had only been circulating for a day or two. No one seems quite sure what it is. But if it's some grand contest to find a princess for the prince, as rumor had it, then it's a waste of everyone's time. Why worry about such a silly game, when more real games are tearing our city apart, tearing our nation apart? I stop my ears and push through the mist like heavy curtains as I struggle to ensure the sounds roll off my shoulders like rain off a seagull. I'm not successful.
Have you heard? Yes, a chance to be princess? Every woman in Auidable, oh, for Merlin's sake, all of Purerah will wish they were eligible.
Just an excuse to waste more money. There's someone speaking sense. The tax is high enough without them spending money on such a frivolous affair. Can't the prince find a girl on his own? Maybe he's hideous? That's why no one's seen him in public. But there are safety reasons too, I can't deny. He is the sole heir to the throne in a kingdom whose people have been in revolt for 5 generations. 5 generations of overtaxation that's all but pushed us to the breaking point. It will either crush us, or things have to change. The relief my father sought to bring, which he believes I could bring. I finally reach the cobbler shop and open the door, making the little bell sing into the crisp morning air. The mist vanishes in an instant as I step into the friendly warmth of the store. The familiar stinging scent of the glue, the rough smell of the fabric, and the coarse scent of leather envelops me in a familiar sensation and warmth that relaxes me. I close my eyes to enjoy the feeling as I stand with my back pressed to the door, enjoying this moment of warmth and relief when 2 women whispering in a corner catches my ear.
They're calling it the enthronement,
one is saying excitedly. That's a strange name for such a contest. The other woman frowns. I sigh frustratedly. Not this again. Why is everyone so excited? A man is already speaking with Deshawn, so I wait patiently, holding the strap of my dance bag in both hands, wandering the shop, allowing my eyes to skim over the rows and rows of boxes that contain, for the most part, example shoes and some sizing shoes. They line one wall, the one where the women are talking. On the other side is a bench, reusable foot tights, socks, and mirrors, so the patrons can look at how different styles of shoes fit them.
What do you think the girls will have to do to win? The ladies jabber on. Curse my dancers' ears! I can't help but listen to the cadence of their conversation with nothing else to keep me busy. No idea. But the rumor is we'll find out today. They'll announce it on the town square imaginal. Think we'll get to see him? Who knows? Kascia! Jashan calls out to me, making me turn to look and smile at him over my shoulder. I was wondering when you'd turn up. Thought your old ones would have worn a while ago. My smile grows as I walk over to him, and the last customer leaves, making the bell above the door tinkle once again. You're getting good on timing, I compliment him, but it's also because I'm going to be ruining a pair today. Jashan clicks his tongue. I should have guessed. What was your last roll? Did you even need them? They last longer when you don't use them all day. The witches does not require point, I smile. Not that they weren't getting used. I, at least, did some training in my points every day if I could help it. Well, you're my best customer because of it, so thank you, Jashan smiles. I have your pair right here. He bends down below the counter and pulls out the small, delicate box he always puts the shoes in. I love how small and narrow it is. I take the box with a nod of thanks and open it. I beam to see the soft pink points shining in the light. They are really shiny, and smell of wood, satin, and slightly of the glue that holds them together. Beautiful as always, I tell Jashan. What would I do without you? I look up at him in delight. Dance demi-point, he teases. I laugh. What a shame that would be. Your dad already paid for them, so no note this time. I'll see you in a month or two. I chuckle and roll my eyes as I close the box and put it into my bag. I adjust the strap and look up to thank Jashan, but he cuts me off. Have you heard about it? He nods at the two women in the back. I roll my eyes with a heavy sigh. Yes, I can't stop hearing, I say dryly. You should try it, he says. I blink and give Jashan a disbelieving look. What? He can't be serious. You play such a good princess on stage. Who else would be better to prove herself a true princess? He grins at me, leaning over the counter. A contest to win the prince's hand. Sounds right up your alley, Lady Kascia. He mock bows his head to me. Perhaps I do play a good princess, but I'm already taken. Not that he can know that. No one can know that. Sure, my friends know I have a serious boyfriend, but they don't know how serious. Thank you, but seriously, though. Jashan's face falls from its joking expression into a softer one. His eyes seem to glow against his dark skin as he looks up at me. You should. I shouldn't. Honestly, you should. I don't know many girls who'd be better. You actually care about your people. If you won't try it, I hope at least someone with a good heart like yours wins that game. My heart isn't up for toying with, I tell Jashan. I'd heard enough to know I didn't want it, even if I wasn't fully sure what it was. Even for your people? He cuts me to the quick, but what he doesn't know is I have other work to do for my people. My people don't want me, I state. Maybe they do. I'll ask around. Jashan teases me as he pushes himself off the counter. I'll see you soon, Kascia. Until then, Jashan. I ensure my shawl is still safely around my head as I turn away and back out the door. The mist is starting to lift as I walk along the street. More people are awake now, most of the shops up and running. Many already have their merchants calling out into the street. I ignore them as I pass, keeping my shawl close. It's not too long before I step into Governance Square, the largest open area in the city. Anyone who knows what they're doing will try to set up their stalls or performances here. But as the Royal Theatre, we have enough experience to know how to get the best spot. Sure enough, my fellow troupe members are setting up the tents in one of the lesser-used alleyways, and have taken over the area near the fountain. Mom is supervising the stage boys in cleaning up as much as possible. Normally, the square was teeming with people waiting to meet with the mayor or applying for a shot to have the court see their case. It was rare anyone got either, but some foolishly still have hope their sovereigns care about them. Some had tried today, too, even though no government work is done on the holidays.
Many likely have nothing else to do. The city guard forces them out of the way of the incoming merchants and performers. They aren't gentle. I glare at a pair who are shoving a woman with 2 small children out of the way, using the flat side of their spears to push them off the perimeter. "Kascia, you're going to behave, aren't you?" Mom smiles at me, brushing a loose strand of her blonde hair from her face. Her hazel eyes sparkle in amusement. "Can't cause trouble when they're just doing their jobs." I reply, irritated. Their bosses could tell them to be gentler, though. "Don't focus on that. Today's a happy day, the day we celebrate the independence from the darkness, and how our nation, or any for that matter, could be their own," Mom tries to remind me. "It's been exactly 2,000 years. Lots of that to celebrate around here," I say dryly as I pick up one of the changing tent bundles. "Let the boys handle that." Mother waves at me to give it to one of the stagehands. "We want to work on the stage." She gives the stagehands a nervous glance. I think she also wants to make sure they're not doing other things instead. The mid-morning sun has cleared out the mist by the time we have the curtains and tents ready to go. "We have a long day ahead," Mother calls out to us. "We are doing pieces every half an hour, but that leaves you time to enjoy the festival too. But please stay close and don't be late when one of your pieces is up. We'll start at 10 with the rest of the main activities." "What in creation would we go do?" Max, our premier actor, complains. "It's a city-wide party. It's a part of the national, honestly, worldwide party going on right now. You'll find something," she smiles. "Or you can keep singing for your bread here." I giggle as Max sighs in annoyance and walks off. Most of the stagehands do too. Mom frowns as they go, obviously worried about what they'll get up to. "Mom, there are guards everywhere. What are they going to do?" I ask her. "Cause havoc, I hope." Dad's voice joins us. I chuckle as Mom stands upright, putting her hands on her hips as she faces my dad. "And ruin my shows? Don't you dare!" She kisses his cheek. "You weren't around to help with the setup," she complains. "I had to get my mask." Dad nods at the bag on his back. "Which mask?" Mom asks tentatively. "For our preview," he assures her. "Am I not doing that piece with her today?" "You are, but with your rabble boys, how do I ever know?" Mom replies. "I also had to get nice for your shows. You don't like it when my beard is unkempt," Dad points out, stroking his goatee, which does look nice, dark and thick and perfectly trimmed, his dark brown hair helping shape his handsome face. They contrast his pale blue eyes nicely, though, admittedly, their pale color does make it hard for them to pop on stage. "Well, you do look nice," Mom agrees. "You aren't dressed up yet." Dad notes Mom's hair is still in its high braided bun, and her hazel eyes are not highlighted by the normal makeup she'd use for a day like today. "Where is your makeup?" "I have time before I get onto the stage," Mom points out. "How about you, my signet?" Dad turns to me with a huge grin. I smile back. "How many of today's performances are yours?" A lot?" I am the prima actress, after all. "Preview for the Hunchback? Then our piece?" Dad nods. "When is your first?" 10:30. "Want to see the sights before then? I doubt you can wander far once that hour hits," Dad suggests. "We'll be back by 10, Dad promises my mother. Mom sighs, but allows it. Dad offers his arm, and we walk around the square. We see several other performing troupes setting up. A group of acrobats has just come in from the train and is hurrying to find a spot. The merchants are already calling out to us with goods, food, jewelry, art, and even pets. "Odd to see the city so alive without the normal snapping," Dad comments as I admire a stunning array of island roses. My stomach drops at the thought. I don't mind it. "Who would?" Dad chuckles. We talk about the upcoming show, what I've been up to, just enjoying the time, walking in the spring sunlight as we admire the traditional red, orange, green, gold, and black decorations popping up around the square. Red and gold phoenixes, banners, the musicians warming up or starting to play for coins, the general excitement of the holiday. Raised voices draw our attention as we reach Governance Hall. A group of people has started a shouting match with the guards keeping people out of the building. Potentate rebels. Dad mutters disapprovingly as the group screams insults at the guards. So uncivilized. Traitors! Puppets! Murderers! The group of about 20 or so people scream at the guards. A few throw rotten food at them. The guards remain patient only until they can't drop their shields for the yelling. They are given the order to disperse the angry crowd. It's too early for this, I sigh. Let the people come! A girl shrieks at the guards as they try to intimidate them, drawing weapons and charging them, but not going into their midst yet. You don't need to push 'em around, a boy about 15 says as he throws a rotten tomato at the lead guard, striking him in the head and making him stagger back now he can't see. You'd rather our people starve than let us see our own leaders. That's enough! Go home! The second guard orders, which only makes the crowd shout and throw more rotten food. One guard loses her cool and dives at the crowd. They scatter like flies. The guard manages to grab one of the younger boys in the group, perhaps about 10 years old. I tense as she violently yanks him back. Let go, you... The boy calls the guard a nasty name. Learn some respect, boy. The guard backhands him. I move to jump in the way, but Dad holds my arm to keep me back. I frown and look at him. I trust him. He knows better, but... They're hurting him, I say quietly, studying Dad's face carefully for my orders. Dad looks into my eyes a moment, before he smiles a little. I trust you. He lets go of my arm. I look back at the boy who spits at the guard. She moves to strike him again, but this time nothing holds me back, and I grab her wrist. He's just a boy, I object. You don't need to smack him around. That boy needs to learn manners. And that's not up to you to teach him, I say calmly. Are you charging him with anything? The guard doesn't answer right away, so I go on. I presume not. It's not your place to teach him manners. Wouldn't that be his parents' job? Because of those monsters, I lost them! The boy yells at the guard. That had nothing to do with us! The guard screams back at him. You made us all broke! I'll take him if you aren't going to charge him. I cut them both off. Thank you for your service. I give the guard a small curtsy before I take the boy and pull him aside. I'd not speak to them like that if I were you, I warn him. That gives them an excuse to arrest you, or worse. If that gives them what for, then that's fine by me. The boy folds his arms. That's what they deserve for taking it all. I know, but don't make it worse for yourself to make a point they won't even see. There are better ways. Dad joins us. I give him a small smile. Dad will know what to do. Did I hear you're on your own? Aren't most of us? The boy glares at Dad as if it's his fault. Dad doesn't bat an eye. I know the feeling. You know, I think I have some friends you might like. Dad glances at me to get my permission, and I nod. Dad smiles thanks, puts a hand on the boy's back, and walks off with him, talking in a low voice. I'm sure Dad will make sure he's safe with the others. Another one to protect with what little we can collect. It's almost time for me to get ready, so I head back to the changing tent to get into my costume. I slip into the red dress that flares when I spin, which I adore, and put on my point shoes, then start on my hair and makeup, making sure my makeup works for all my shows. When I'm done, I turn my head side to side, admiring how the golden, red, brown tones make my sea blue eyes pop, almost hiding the hazel ring in the middle I inherited from my mother. The same tones highlight my warm olive-toned skin for a smooth look. The trickiest part is my hair. I got a mix of my parents' hair colors, my mother's blonde and my dad's dark brown, giving me a dark golden brown shade that gives off glints of red in the right lighting. But it's my curls that make my hair difficult to manage. I may not have the royal coils that are the envy of so many, but my thick curly hair came with its own unique set of problems. But for my first show, I just pull it back with a headband to let it flow full, thick, and wild, and set a tiara into the headband. I am stunning as Esmeralda. I'd become her and charm every already uncharmed boy within earshot. I pick up the tambourine and do a few warm-ups with it, before I'm called out to sing and dance the preview piece for the show we'll be putting on in a few weeks. Just enough time for the tourists to help increase the revenue. Creator knows we need every gem we can get. The piece is a hit, drawing more crowds than any of the other stalls so far, and I'm showered with whistles and applause as I bow to them at the end. I have a half-an-hour break before we're doing our next performance, which is just a group dance number from another show we're planning this season. I enjoy the smell of the dumpling and seaweed wrap stalls, admire the seashell jewelry and stonework trinkets. Right before we go on, someone takes my shoulders. I look at him and chuckle to see Jake, my long-standing boyfriend, looking around frantically. "Hide me," he says, his dark eyes darting about the square. "What are you in trouble for now?" I ask teasingly. "Nothing. The guards are after me," Jake says innocently. I frown. "Jake, what were you doing?" "Nothing. You know how it is. Say a word against the royal family, and they'll call you a rebel and lock you up for being unhappy or drowning in debt," Jake insists. I raise a brow, highly doubting that is true. He likely got into a fight with a guard that would make that little boy Dad spoke to blush. The call for my cue to join the group of dancers comes. The guards in question come into the square from an alley behind Jake. I grab Jake's wrist and pull him, so he's behind me as we start to dance. I carefully keep an eye on the guards and use the dance to keep Jake out of view. Though Jake is quite a bit taller than me, and I'm not large enough to block him completely, my dancing and fluttering skirt certainly could keep them well distracted. It works, and the guards move on by the time the dance ends. "Thanks," Jake smirks as we dash behind the curtain we're using as a backstage. Jake leans down and kisses me deeply. I can't resist the little smile that climbs my cheeks as I run a hand along his rough cheek. The foolish boy never shaved enough. Yet he never quite grew a beard, looking cutely stubbly all the time. I wrap my arms around his neck, the lighter tone of my skin contrasting his deeply tanned neck. Even this stolen moment makes my heart sing. I adore this man, the one I'd been secretly betrothed to since I was 12 years old. "Jake!" Mom snaps at him. Our lips part and I giggle. He's always getting in trouble with Mom. "Jack," Jake insists. "Your given name is Jake, and that's what I'll use," Mom says, folding her arms and raising a brow at Jake. "What have I told you about being backstage?" "Never ever again. Stop scuffing up my floors," Jake recites. "Then maybe I'll call you Jake." Mom smiles at his correct answer. Jake frowns. "Jack." I'm the only one who gets away with calling him Jake. He was called Jake when he was little, but he hates it as an adult. "Maybe when you stop causing my rehearsals such trouble, then we'll get to calling you that." Mother gives me a smile. "You have time before your next piece," Mom says to me. "But be back." "Am I ever not?" I tease as Mom leaves us alone. Jake takes my hand, and we head into the main square. "But honestly, what were you doing?" I ask as we join the crowds enjoying the other performances and shopping. I wonder how long they have saved to have that luxury. Or maybe they were smart and knew there would be discounts, so they used today to do their normal shopping. "Just talking with some of the other guys about how we could do something about how much they take. It was nothing." "And what were the guys doing?" I ask. Jake's group of friends aren't exactly the best examples. Honestly, I dislike all of them. "Making fun of the guards for guarding the intake booth at the governance building, when everyone knows there's nothing going on there." "And they attacked you for that?" I frown, annoyed. "Well, the guys may have gotten too close to it for their orders to allow." Jake hedges. I roll my eyes, hugging Jake's arm. I love him, even though he really is an idiot sometimes. And we all know crossing the line is all it takes. Pretending to sign up for a wait list, I assume? "Stuff like that," Jake agrees. I sigh. It was silly, but a reason to arrest them all? The royals have gone too far once again. On the bright side, they didn't fine or tax us. Jake jokes to cheer me up. He does win a giggle. Jake and I enjoy the sights and smells, talking casually. I notice a few of the beggars have tried to creep into the square to beg for coins. I watch a group of them, using a young boy as a lookout to warn them when a guard is coming, so they can scatter away from their view. In our circle of the square, I see it several times. They just want help to get by.